has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
And we are back. Hour number 2, Ferrall Coast to Coast on a Tuesday. Carver High and Cam Stewart in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. It is great to have everybody with us. Lots of NFL this hour as we have a lot to do as we look towards week number 13 and our holiday slate. 3 games on Thursday, 1 game on Friday. We have tons of college football to get to with the Crack Crab and Lobster Committee releasing the new rankings tonight. NBA Cup games tonight. As well as remember, Adam Silver and the NBA want you to know that those games are more important than the other games.
How do you feel about it, Carver? I'm not down with this program at all. Like, think about what's going on here. We got enough college. You got 9 college tournaments in every friggin' island in the world, and now we have NBA Cup. I got to bet on the NHL because I'm the prime minister. We got football. We got Thanksgiving and college football. They top the list. I'm sorry, NBA. Get it together, or do it at another time of the year. It's too busy. Am I nuts?
I will tell you this, Cam. I will say this.
Say this.
Being someone who despises, generally, regular season NBA, I don't like the product. I don't like the quality of the product. I think it's so different from the playoffs. I don't know if guys care, don't care, up, down, whatever. I felt last year, watching the games and being involved in them, wagering on them, that there was a slightly different, not a playoff level of difference, but a slight difference from the regular run-of-the-mill regular season game in the past. Now, I also felt that way the last 2 weeks when they started doing it. I'm with you on this aspect, though. This week, there are a lot of things going on, and it's very tough, and I don't think the slate's great tonight. Now, Friday, they got wall-to-wall from noon to midnight NBA Cup games. The Knicks are playing at noon. They have all, so they're trying to kind of squeeze in on Friday a little bit, the day after Thanksgiving. And the college football slate's not great, so we shall see. But I do think, Cam, there's a slight upgrade in how much the teams and or the players care about it. Very small.
At least golf gets it right, though. I know they play all the time, but they take a break going into Thanksgiving with family and stuff like that. There's so many sports going on. How do we bet on everything? I'm not rich.
I love golf like you. We're in the
let's take a break.
The top tier of people who love golf.
Yes.
When else are they taking a break aside from now to January 1st? They are nonstop from January all the way through this Thanksgiving break all the way up to January 1st. So I think they need a few weeks off. I need a few weeks off from those swing season fields that I've had the stomach for the last 2 months. I'm tired of looking at Mark put the Hubbard in the cupboard, and Harry English, and all these other guys. I'm looking forward to getting our regular fields back for Golf Wednesdays once we hit January. All right, Cam, let's go. NFL.
Yep.
Week 13 starts on Thursday. What do we do every week? We give you some of the futures and our updated against the spread. Here's the best, Cam, so far this year. Lions 9-2. Against the number so far this year. Smash City for Dan Campbell and Detroit. Broncos 9-3. Steelers 8-3. Colts 8-4 against the number. Chargers, Vikings, Cards, Bucks, Eagles, Bills, Commanders. They're all on the good side of things, Cam.
It's interesting, Carver. I'm looking at that list, and I might go against some of the best ATS teams that actually worked last week. Like the Commanders didn't cover last week. What team's really hot is the Broncos. I'm going to get your take on that game versus Cleveland. I know Cleveland played better. I know they're going to be a popular pick. And you know what, Carver, you're kind of swinging me to the Lions. I love points, but maybe this is the year the Lions just clean up on Thanksgiving and take everything. But that Steelers-Cincinnati game's interesting, too. I could tell you the Steelers are going to get a lot of money getting 3 points in that game. It almost feels too good to be true. I might lean Cincy, but a lot of weird lines. We'll talk about it.
I actually have a note on that for you, which I'm going to get to in a little bit
cool.
with that Cincinnati-Pittsburgh game, because like you said, it's a strange line. You don't normally see the kind of records that you have in that game and one team be favored. The worst teams against the spread this season. Now, the Titans, despite getting their second win against the spread, they're still at the bottom. 2-9 ATS. Jets, Giants, Cowboys, all with 3 ATS victories. And then the Rams, Niners, Raiders, Browns, Panthers, and Patriots all on the bad list as well. You don't like this list, Cam, because these teams don't get you to the window, and we don't appreciate that. We don't like when you don't.
No, we don't. But I'm coming back to these loser teams. Like the Titans might make my card. The Rams are going to make my card. I'm actually looking at the Panthers again this week against the Bucks. This is what I do, Carver. I can't get off it. Yeah, they're horrible ATS, but maybe they go on a little run deep in the season. We'll see. But yeah, the Titans have killed me this year. I'm not going to lie.
The Titans have been a bad team to back. And then, of course, I'm sure a lot of people weren't on them this week. You were. You can't quit them. It's like you can't quit the Titans. And now I do think they will be very live with the way Washington has played over the past few weeks in that game on Sunday. Odds to win the AFC heading into week number 13. The Chiefs are still the favorites, of course. Why wouldn't they be? At 2-1. Bills plus 275. Ravens, Steelers at 12. Texans at 14. Chargers at 15. And then it gets pretty far out after that, Cam. I've kind of been setting the line at like the Steelers. Do you have any faith in anyone below the Steelers on that list to actually win the AFC?
As crazy as it sounds, I would rather have the Dolphins at 35 than the Texans at 14. Ooh. That's how crazy. Like, they've been playing good football. Yeah. The Texans they're fraudulent. The Chargers are still a good team at 15, but I'm surprised. I think the Bills are better than the Chiefs, but we know the playoff history, and I don't believe the Steelers' offense is good enough to get it done in the playoffs. The Ravens, it'd be Ravens and Bills for chalk, and it'd be Chargers and Dolphins for super dogs for me.
I don't disagree with if you told me I had to have one of those two tickets. Like if you were somebody who's like, you have to either take a Dolphin or a Texan ticket, which one would you want? I'd probably agree with you on that. I'd also then say, do I have a third option? Can I take someone? No. It's not one of those two teams.
It's a deep option. Let's just say, like, it's we're rummaging.
I don't want either of them, to be fair. I wouldn't want either, but that's just how it goes. On the NFC side, the Lions plus $130 as the favorites, and the Eagles are plus 325. Packers 750, Vikings 850, Falcons and Niners 22-1. Cardinals, Seahawks, Bucks. Some big numbers outside of those top four.
I got the Lions wins over. It's my biggest bet at 10.5. Eagles, I think the Lions are better than them. Packers, I don't think they're as good as people think. Hey, Carver, I could really use a friend in Seahawk Nation at 30-1. Maybe we can get this thing. They played Detroit pretty tough too, but that's a wish and a prayer for me. Like I cheer for the Bills, the Lions, and the Seahawks. Those are the teams I like.
You know, I feel like, Cam, we're going to get to a point here this year, and we wanted it last year and we got it. We wanted Lions and 49ers last year. Everybody was like, we got to see the Lions and the 49ers play each other. I feel like this year now it's starting to mold into we really want to see the Lions play the Eagles, right? I think that's the game right now. Everybody's like that. And they're only a game behind them. So, and I think I said this to Joe yesterday, huge difference, Cam, of playing a game in late January inside in Detroit or outside in Philadelphia.
Good call.
There's a big difference in those two locations. And the Lions have some, I know they played the Bears twice, but they played the Bills. They played the Niners. They got some games on their schedule that maybe they play the Packers again. They play the Vikings again. So they don't play any. They don't got any more 2-7, 2-9 teams on their schedule. Detroit. So they could pick up a loss here or there. Them and the Eagles race for that number 1 seed. Very interesting in the NFC. All right, Cam. We will come back, and then I have a couple of other futures for you: MVP, Coach of the Year, and then we will roll into this week's games. Ferrall Coast to Coast here on a Tuesday. Carver High and Cam Stewart in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. We keep rocking on the grid right after this. he shouldn't need to hire outside help at this point to be able to help, let alone outside help, Joe, that used to work for him.
Until they get him out of the way, I just don't see how this gets any better. And like you said, who are you picking from? Because most people who know the league want nothing to do with the ownership group there with the Jets.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Road manager is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Fillet Indiana. They would smash them.
What?
Honestly.
You listen to yourself speak. That's not a reality question. They have not played each other. You are using hypothetical.
And they got embarrassed.
As so many
if
teams
they would have
do.
won that football, yes, that's you're 100%
that's the thing,
correct.
No.
The
Stop.
The only argument is Indiana is a decent football team and a product of their environment.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
And we are back for El Coast to Coast here on a Tuesday. Carver High and Cam Stewart in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Good to have everybody with us here today. All right, Cam, let's do some of these award futures going into Week 13. MVP, which is getting a lot of juice right now, and it's interesting. We had a discussion yesterday, me and Ranieri, about this. Allen's now plus 150. Lamar is plus 250. And that board's this has changed a little bit from that from this morning because Barkley's now 4-1. So the money's continuing to pour in on Saquon Barkley. And I got Goff at 6-1 now as well. So these things are very fluid, as we like to say, Cam, for the MVP board. And then everyone else is 14 or more further down the line. Your thoughts on Barkley jumping into the mix here with how well he's played for Philadelphia, or it's nice to put him in the conversation, Cam, but are you a believer like most that it's always going to go to a quarterback and you're throwing money away by betting on Barkley?
I got Allen and Goff as my two picks at the start of the year, Carver. You remember that when we did the show, right? It's documented. Yep. I'm almost going to add Barkley to my portfolio just to have if he keeps this up. Goff with that 5-interception game, he'd be a lot better. He'd probably be in the 2-hole, if not that one game. But it's all about Josh Allen for me. This is the year. If the Bills continue to win and he continues to play well, I got a better ticket. I don't want to play it at plus 150, but I'm all in on the Allen train. If I had to make another bet, Mahomes, Herbert, Hurts, Darnold, nope, it would be Barkley.
Look, I think that obviously if you don't have Allen or Lamar Jackson by now, the ship is kind of sailed for you. I mean, plus 150 is just not, unless he falls back has a bad game, falls back a little bit, and then you could try jump in. But at plus 150, it's tough, especially with how many weeks you have left in the season. Next one I've got for you is Coach of the Year. Last week when me and Scotty did this, it was Mike Tomlin, who was the favorite on the board. But they, of course, lost to Cleveland last Thursday night. So now it is Dan Campbell at plus, I got a plus 175. Kevin O'Connell at plus 350. Sean Payton at 6-1. Jim Harbaugh at plus 650.
Peyton's the play if you're looking for I think at 6-1, the way Denver's playing this year. You talked about their ATS record. They're way over their wins total. If Dan Campbell and the Lions have a tough schedule down the stretch, I'd like a piece of Sean Payton at 6-1. Harbaugh's done a good job, Tomlin, but what Denver has done, nobody saw this coming with Bo Nix. I like Peyton at 6-1 if I had another option. Campbell will probably win.
I always the way that I look at this award, Cam, in this sport and in every sport, is I usually take the guy that gets a team into the playoffs that people felt had absolutely no, because there's usually always one of them, that a team that had absolutely no shot of getting in. In the NFL, I think it's easy to do, Cam, because you look at what was the preseason win total, right? That's usually a pretty good indicator of how bad someone thought or people thought a team was going to be. And Denver's was pretty low. So that gives Sean Payton some credence. And I believe, 5.5, 4. Did it ever get that low, Cam? Did it get as low as 4.5?
I think it was 4.5 with high juice. 5.5 plus money, and I'm on the Commanders at. I know I got the Commanders at 6.5 over with theirs with even juice. So
and look, I think if Arizona wins the NFC West, same things can be said for Jonathan Gannon with what they've done. So I usually lean to give it to guys like that. But if Campbell goes 16-1, just smashes everyone every week, there's also a pretty good argument there for that. Barkley and the Offensive Player of the Year is now starting to gain some steam. In fact, he's starting to run away a little bit from Henry, who was the leader for a little while. Minus 320 for Barkley, plus 300 for Henry, and Jamar Chase is 11-1. It's funny, Ken, because Chase is having just a stupid good year, Jamar Chase. And I know the Bengals suck this year, and they're 4-7, but he's having an incredible, eye-popping video game stat type of year. But so is Barkley and Henry, and those are going to be the guys coming down the stretch here.
Unbettable number at 320. But hey, if the Cincinnati, if they go on a heater and make the playoffs and win every single game, it's going to be because of Chase. But I need a better number than 11-1. They got so much work to do.
A lot of work, indeed. And another award that has changed a lot, the odds board over the past couple weeks, is the Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think that
is a problem.
A lot of people had it. I saw it. We had it on the Jaden Daniels on here at minus 1,500, minus 2,000.
Oh, I know.
At one point a few weeks ago, and that has changed. Bo Nix is heavily involved now. He's plus 150. Daniels down to minus 180. And Brock Bowers and everybody else pretty far back of those guys. You got a little juice for Bo Nix here, Cam, with what he's done with the Broncos the past few weeks?
I told you I got a Daniels ticket, and Bo Nix, I didn't get a good enough number. I screwed up. I was sleeping on the Broncos. And I'm just going to have to let this one play out. But I wish I had a Bo Nix ticket in my pocket. Man, Ladd McConkey at 75-1. He deserves better than that. Guy's amazing. But anyway, he's not going to win. But, it's between Daniels and Nix. I can't buy Nix at that price. Sorry, Carver. I'm in with Daniels. Whatever happens is going to happen. That's life.
The funny thing is that Nix was like 20-1 3 weeks ago. It was a great number for Bo Nix, and people thought that Daniels was going to run away and hide. And we've now seen this the past couple of years. You've seen some mid to late season swings with that Rookie of the Year. So you got to keep your eye on it. And sometimes if you think a guy's out of it, especially a quarterback, Cam, you can stash away. If you think the guy's going to play a lot, and which Nix has and which Daniels has, because they're always got a shot if their team starts winning and getting in the mix. TJ Watt's the favorite for defensive. I actually didn't realize. I thought he'd be a bigger favorite than minus 125. But the next closest is Garrett, who's 10-1. I guess that's just Garrett off of saying that he was the best after the game last week. They had to move Myles Garrett up after what he said against them.
He's not even the second best defensive player. That bet with Watt, I'll lay juice. It's like a hockey game all day, all night.
TJ Watt is, I know he didn't have a great game last week. He's, as me and Scotty say every week here, he's the best defensive player in football. Yep. Ferrall Coast to Coast on a Tuesday. Carver High and Cam Stewart here with you on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. We'll come back. Get through the Thursday games. Lions-Bears kicks it off. We'll hear from Dan Campbell when we come back. he shouldn't need to hire outside help at this point to be able to help him, let alone outside help, Joe, that used to work for him.
Until they get him out of the way, I just don't see how this gets any better. And like you said, who are you picking from? Because most people who know the league want nothing to do with the ownership group there with the Jets.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Road management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Fillet Indiana. They would smash them. Honestly.
You listen to yourself speak. That's not a reality question. They have not played each other. You are using hypothetical.
And they got embarrassed.
So many
if
teams
they would
do.
have won that football, yes, that's you're 100% correct.
No. Stop.
The only argument is Indiana is a decent football team and a product of their environment.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
And we are back. Ferrall Coast to Coast here on a Tuesday. Carver High and Cam Stewart in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Good to have everybody with us here today. All right, Cam, Thursday, Turkey Day, NFL triple header is upon us for week number 13. And as we know, the Detroit Lions and the Cowboys are always traditional hosts on Thanksgiving Day. The night game always rotates, and this year you get the Fish and the Packers out in cold Lambeau Field. But we start with the early game, and as much as the Lions have been smashing everybody, Cam, did you know that the Lions have lost 7 in a row on Thanksgiving Day?
Yes.
How about that? And did you know also that I believe the Bears have beaten them in 3 of those 7 games? Straight up. The Bears have been the opponent and beat them 3 of those 7 times that they've lost consecutively. They are 10-1 this year. They are off to an outstanding start. So, Dan Campbell, distractions this week? You bet that there's a few, but we have to put those aside.
Block out all the distractions. You know, that's one thing. The distractions are on us, not on them. We got all our family here, friends, all that. You got to block it out. Tell them you love them, and you'll see them after the game.
See you later.
You know, that's kind of the challenge with all this. So, you know, but this team's been, I mean, they've lost a couple of heartbreakers here the last 2 weeks, but they've been in a bunch of these tight races, and they just keep coming back for more. So they're hungry for a win, and we got our hands full.
Dan Campbell, send the family to the hotel till after the game.
He's like, listen, tell your family, I don't care, whatever's on the menu, you cook whatever the hell you want. All right, don't come to me Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday saying, I'm out of this, do you want this, is there something special? Make Thanksgiving dinner. I'll see you after the game. That's Dan's advice. Just stay away from the family. They want folks, and you know he wants to finally win a game because it's been brought up to him, and I think it bothers him a little bit because they've lost some close games the last few years. You know, that Packer game last year, 29-22. Yeah. Remember the Bill game the year before that, 28-25. Close game, 16-14 to the Bears the year before that. They've lost some close games on Thanksgiving, so maybe, Cam, you might be onto something. I know that I'd maybe try to sway you a little bit because I just think the Lions are a complete wrecking ball right now. But this is a very, very big number for a Turkey Day. 10.5 for the Lions with a 48.5 total.
I'm taking the Bears right now. I'm not sure if they're going to win the game outright, but you are kind of changing my opinion. Dan Campbell basically says, hey, family, you guys stay at hotels. I don't want you like in my domicile, in my home, bothering us before the game. We'll deal with you. If we beat the Bears, then we'll have a party afterwards. That's what he should have said. Like at the Campbell Estates, everybody comes down and I'll cook turkey dinner for the team. Like we'll have a party. But anyway, take care of business first. They haven't been good on Thanksgiving. Lots of points, Carver. But this is a different Detroit team, as you mentioned. They're murdering everybody. Very tough, though, to lay that kind of number. I got to take the Bears. Probably put the Lions in a super teaser or something.
I believe that they are on a clear mission this year. I think that the directive is out. The way they lost the NFC title game to the Niners with a lead, and they blew that game, they have come into this year looking to put their foot down and say we're the best team in the NFC. This is a national stage, Thanksgiving Day, a day that they've had problems with the past few years. So you know that that's also going to be driven home by Campbell these next couple of days. I know it's a lot, but I'm willing to go after it, Cam. I think, and here's the other side of the coin. The Bears suck, and they've now lost. They've lost. I think it's 5 in a row. They've lost altogether, and 2 or 3 of them, Cam, just completely excruciating. Last week, wild game. They come all the way back and lose to the Vikings. The week before that, they get the field goal blocked against the Packers. The start of their losing streak, the Hail Mary with Washington. Like, when are they going to just let go of the rope and say, forget it? We're done.
Great point.
On a short week on the road.
If they don't get off to a good start and like Detroit goes up 17-0 or 14, you know what I mean? The Bears just might say, sayonara, like get me to the turkey. We're done. Like I'm checking out, tryptophan style. You're right. They have to come out hot or they're done. Yeah.
Let's get the hell out of here and get the short flight back home and get to the bird by late evening, by the second half of the Dallas game. Let's get home and let's forget about it. I don't need this. We're getting smashed. I want nothing to do with it. So I think that there's something to factor in there with all of those things. So how the Bears are playing coming into the game. Ferrall Coast to Coast here on a Tuesday. Carver High and Cam Stewart in for Scotty. We're back on the grid right after this. He shouldn't need to hire outside help at this point to be able to help, let alone outside help, Joe, that used to work for him.
Until they get him out of the way, I just don't see how this gets any better. And like you said, who are you picking from? Because most people who know the league want nothing to do with the ownership group there with the Jets.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Fillet Indiana. They would smash them.
What?
Honestly.
Do you listen to yourself speak? That's not a reality question. They have not played each other. You are using hypothetical.
And they got embarrassed.
As so many
if
teams
they would have
do.
won that football, yes, that's you're 100% correct.
No. Stop.
The only argument is Indiana is a decent football team and a product of their environment.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
And we are back, Ferrall Coast to Coast here on a Tuesday. Carver High and Cam Stewart in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Good to have everybody with us. UConn up 8 at the half on Colorado out in Maui, 40-32. So 8-point lead there for the Huskies. I know Cam was saying, I heard him talking some soccer with Luke during the break. Still 1-0 Bayern leads PSG. That's really the best Champions League game of the day. Man City up 3-0. Arsenal up 4-1 on Sporting. You do have a few things. Atalanta is up 5-1. So you do have a bunch of stuff. Atalanta. And Barcelona up 2-0 over Turkey Brest as they're playing now in the 74th minute.
Turkey Brest. That was my buddy's father. He's like, stupid Atalanta. He used to say it all the time, but he meant Atlanta Braves, or like Atlanta Hawk. Atalanta.
Yeah, exactly. Game 2 of the Turkey Day triple header. Not exactly the most desirable matchup. Maybe preseason it did, the Giants and the Cowboys in Dallas, but man, have both of their seasons gone off the tracks. Let me start with the Cowboys side of things, Cam, because Jerry Jones did his weekly appearance down in Dallas radio this morning on The Fan, and the guys asked him about McCarthy, whose contract's up at the end of the year. And it's funny, Cam, people just assume that he's not going to be the coach after this year. Now, he's won before this year. He'd done pretty good, at least winning 10-plus games and getting him to the playoffs. This is his first bad year in Dallas, but people just assume he's out. Jerry actually said, Cam, he's not ruling out that McCarthy could be extended after the season. Said he's done a great job, and he's a Super Bowl winning coach. Are you buying that form of nonsense that Jerry is spewing all over Dallas? That McCarthy, I actually do too.
People think he's just going to get rid of this guy. Are you kidding me? Jerry Jones does whatever Jerry Jones will do. It doesn't matter. He'll talk a big game. They won't pick up a free agent. McCarthy stays. Who the hell knows what this guy's going to do? I actually, you know what? If there was a bet at long odds, Carver, I think me and you would say McCarthy stays. You give me a big enough plus number, I'm in.
See, here's the thing, Cam, that people have to understand. And there are some guys out there that are desirable, I guess you could say, at the end of this season. Namely, of course, Mike Vrabel and Bill Belichick as being the guys that everybody kind of said, that's who I want to coach my team. Not everybody wants to work for Jerry.
Nope.
Okay? Not everybody wants to work for him. And I don't think that those two guys would necessarily want to work for Jerry. And if you get rid of him, who are you? Jerry might prefer an experienced Super Bowl winning coach, whether you like him or not, over the next hot coordinator who's never done it. Jerry might
also
prefer
want
that
a yes
over
man,
that.
Right, Carver?
And a yes man, which Mike.
Yes, Jerry. Yes, Jerry. Whatever you say, Jerry.
Now look, that's why Garrett was there for a while, because Garrett was a good yes man, and eventually you just couldn't go any further. I don't think that they've reached that with McCarthy yet. This is his first bad year. And people will say, you could say, at least Mike would make the case, I've had a billion injuries this year. I lost my quarterback. I lost Parsons for the first 6 games of the first half of the season. I lost this. What do you want me to do? You didn't give me anybody in free agency. I had no running backs. I had no anything. So I think Mike actually might have a case if he sat down with Jerry and said, this is why. And Jerry would probably go, oh, yeah, you're right. So we'll keep him back. I'm with you, Cam. I lean to he's back more than he's gone. And I know that's probably surprising for a lot of people, but that's how I lean. Now, the other side of the coin is the Giants.
Oh, here we go.
They got all kinds of problems. They've had a lot of these, but one of the most embarrassing losses was Sunday at home against the Bucs, where they just got smashed 30-7. And after the game, Cam, we played a clip of Neighbors yesterday here, me and Joe, and there were several other players who kind of voiced their opinion about the team. A bunch of them called him soft. Neighbors was upset that he didn't get the ball till it was 30-0. Lots of players voicing their displeasure in the locker room. What does Brian Dable think about all that?
Again, when you lose a game like that, Art, there's frustration. Certainly, you'd like to keep it in house, but you understand. I mean, been doing this for a while, and there's conversations that you have to have. If comments like that are made, And I respect the opinions of the players and of the coaches. And we'll work as hard as we can to get this fixed.
I don't believe you.
That's basically let's translate what he just said, Cam. I can't do anything about it. Is what he just said. There's nothing I can do about it, and he's going to be finished. I know.
What's this guy doing? Like, he goes for 2 when you shouldn't go for 2. You are actually in games, you lose games. You've done everything wrong, Dable. Like, what do you want the players to do? You said that Locke was going to be the backup. You put in Tommy Cutlets because he's popular in the city. Like, what the hell are we doing here? What is the goal? The goal, like, I get it, lose games, get a better draft pick, but you still got to compete. You can cover numbers. I don't know what the deal is, Carver. What do we do with this game? Honestly, this is the one where, they say, TV off, fellas, it's Thanksgiving. You're like, thank God this is the middle game. Click. If you had to, like, not watch a football game for a while, it's Dallas and the Giants, but I don't know what to do. Like, should Dallas be a favorite? Like, what a hard game, man.
Well,
I don't know what.
Dallas is 3.5-point favorites here in this game now. Now, we also have some giant quarterback situations. Dable said today that DeVito's throwing arm is sore, and he's not 100% sure if he's going to play on Thursday, which of course would then mean Drew Lock would play. I'm trying to decide if that's better or worse, Cam.
Oh, it's better.
That Drew Lock's going to play. I think it's better for maybe guys like Malik Neighbors. It's probably better, I think. But 3.5 and 37 and a half. Cooper Rush and Tommy DeVito. If it's those two guys, we want to, sometimes you get 2 bad quarterbacks, 2 bad teams, and suddenly you get a crazy high-scoring game, Cam. That does happen sometimes.
I'm going to tell you, if it's Drew Lock, he's playing for his future. It's not about the Giants. It's about him. Get me another backup job somewhere else or keep me in the damn league. Like, you're being pushed behind DeVito. I think that's why I would bet on the Giants, but who knows? We don't know what we're going to get from Lock. But you're right, Carver. You get 2 crap teams with a total that low. You might even want to go over, but I don't feel comfortable laying points with Dallas.
I think if Lock played, I would take the 3.5. Now, if Lock plays, is it back to 3? That's the thing, Cam. They announced Thursday morning that Lock's going to play. I don't know if we're still getting 3.5, and I think I only like it if it's 3.5. I don't think I want to go any earlier than that. But the total's something, Cam. We're going to obviously bring this up again tomorrow before Coast to Coast heads out for the weekend. So I'm going to sleep on it one more night and see if maybe we can attack the 37 in terms of the total, because that's probably where I'm going to want to go in that game. Rush didn't look bad against Washington.
He looked good
on Sunday. There was some signs of maybe the Cowboy offense turning a little bit of a corner since he's been in. It took 3 weeks, but they actually moved the football quite a bit with him in there. He found Lamb a lot. He got that Schoonmaker cooking, the tight end.
Yeah.
So maybe we can get that over, Cam. Maybe it's possible. A combination of the Cowboy offense getting better and Drew Lock maybe potentially being the quarterback for the Giants might help us with the 37.5. We've got one more game for Thursday, and then we'll do the Friday game as well with the Raiders and the Chiefs in Arrowhead. So we'll do the Dolphins and the Packers next. I've got some numbers for you, Cam, on the cold weather for Tua and Mike McDaniel. They only played in the coldest game ever last year. You'd think they'd be used to it by now when they played that game in Arrowhead against Kansas City. So what? I mean, this is like 50 degrees warmer than the game that they played in Kansas City last year. So they should be good for this. Ferrall Coast to Coast on a Tuesday. Carver, I, and Cam for Scotty. We're back after this. He shouldn't need to hire outside help at this point to be able to help him, let alone outside help, Joe, that used to work for him.
Until they get him out of the way, I just don't see how this gets any better. And like you said, who are you picking from? Because most people who know the league want nothing to do with the ownership group there with the Jets.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We fillet Indiana. They would smash them.
What?
Honestly.
Do you listen to yourself speak? That's not a reality question. They have not played each other. You are using hypothetical.
And they got embarrassed.
As so many
if
teams
they would
do.
have won that football, yes, that's you're 100% correct.
No. Stop.
The only argument is Indiana is a decent football team and a product of their environment.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
And we are back for El Coast to Coast here on a Tuesday. Carver High and Cam Stewart in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody here with us today. Of course, the Dolphins and the Packers will be the nightcap on Turkey Day in what will be a very cold Lambeau Field. And as me and Cam referenced before the break, the Dolphins did play in basically the coldest game ever last year in January in Arrowhead against the Kansas City Chiefs. So you'd think they'd be a little bit more prepared for games that are only in the low 30s or high 20s, like Thursday night's going to be in Lambeau. But Mike McDaniel's always looking for ways to keep the Dolphins prepared for cold weather.
Well, I was just going to carry ice cubes in my pockets and throw them at players all week. It's nothing revolutionary. I'm not gonna throw it out there for the world and act like we've checked the box and we've got this answered.
This guy's the best.
Throw ice cubes
Everybody
at him.
live at the comedy club. Mike McDaniel. I got ice cubes in my pockets. This guy's
throw ice cubes at him, Cam. He's got something to do there. Just throw the ice cubes.
This guy
at him. Why not?
What a piece of work. He kills me, that guy. Like, what's he doing?
He is funny. He is very funny. The Dolphins with Tua as the quarterback have played 4 games with temperatures of 40 degrees or colder. Tua is 0-4 straight up in those games. They are 1-3 against the spread in such situations. Of course, the forecast is calling it for it to be below 32 degrees for this game Thursday night. Well, there it is for you right there, Cam. The 0-4 straight up for Tua under 40 degrees. He discussed it as well. He's saying we got to change some narratives. He's right about that. Now, the Dolphins have gotten hot. They've won 3 in a row to get themselves back to 5-6 and breathing for the last spot in the AFC. They're trying to track down Denver, who currently has it. They are getting 3.5 points here on Thursday night. 47.5 is the total for this game. I got to tell you, Cam, I might be nuts, but I'm taking the Dolphins with the 3.5 on Thursday night. I think they're going to be in this game. And I don't think that Green Bay's paper tiger. I think that they're a good team, but you watch Green Bay, there's a lot of games where their defense, I don't think it's one of the top ones in the NFL. I think that you can move the football against the Green Bay D, especially when Alexander's on out there. And Love, he does make a mistake or two from time to time. He got a little saved against the Niners. I know it became a block. He had a play where he's almost fumbled it, and he grabbed it back in. Another ball that should have been intercepted. Like, he gives you some chances to turn him over. I think the Dolphins hang around and maybe even break that schneid and Tua finally gets a win under 40 degrees.
Well, you got the roommate. You say you're nuts. I'm your roommate. Put us in straight jackets together, Carver. I'll take the Dolphins money line and points teased any way I can get it. I don't care about this ATS crap. They're playing hot. You saw what they've done in their last games. They killed Matt Stafford in that. Like, their defense is playing a hell of a lot better. Jonnu Smith's playing better. You can run the ball. And you're right about Love. I think they can force him into mistakes. I like the Dolphins in this spot. I know the weather. Everyone's talking about Green Bay, but this is a big one for me, Carver. I'm taking the points with the Dolphins and the money line.
A lot of things the Dolphins have also said is mental toughness is another thing they've thrown around the locker room the past couple of days. And sometimes it is that simple when it comes to it. And I think eventually, those streaks, Cam, eventually they all come to an end. And I think it's very possible that one could come to an end for them there. Friday, there's one game. Raiders and the Chiefs at Arrowhead. This is the second year in a row the Black Friday game is, to say subpar would be calling it nice. The Raiders, as we know, they have not won a game in a very long time. They are slip-sliding away, trying to get that top pick in the draft. They're 2-9 now. They've lost 7 games in a row. But Antonio Pierce says, we're still trying, Cam. We're going out there trying to win these games.
It's challenging for our team right now with losing 7 straight games, but the opportunity's there. The want to desire. One thing about these guys, they love one another. They love the game. They're passionate about it. I think hopefully it shows up on film, the effort that they play with. The physicality's picked up over the last couple of weeks. I think they've done a good job of buying in. These younger guys understand that this is their opportunity, right? The last 6 weeks of the season, you don't know how this bad boy going to go in off season, right? So here's some great opportunities for you to put good film on yourself going forward, right? What does the 2025 Raiders look like? And are you a part of that, right? And there's going to be changes made as it is every year in off season for every team. And I think it's important for these guys to put their best foot forward, and really for all our players, myself included, and staff, to show that we're fighting. There's no give and no tanking, none of that BS that being said. Hell, we're trying to win every game possible. We can win 6 in a row, we'll win 6 in a row. And that's what we're going to do.
I always love, Cam, when coaches of a sinking ship give the late in the year you got to put good tape out there. You got to make sure you get that good tape out there. That's basically him through the media trying to tell the players, you better play a little bit harder than you have been because you need to put that good tape out there for everything else. Now, this is 12.5. And you know the deal here, Cam. The Chiefs, they don't cover these big numbers. Didn't cover against Carolina, big number. Didn't cover at home against Denver, big number. Didn't cover at home against Tampa, big number. Didn't cover in Vegas against this team, big number. We could go on and on. I find you a couple others, too, if I keep digging throughout the season.
Baltimore,
but
Tampa
generally
Bay.
speaking, big numbers. They have not. And this is as big as it gets. 12.5. Raiders look miserable. Games in Arrowhead. Mahomes said he wanted to start blowing teams out on Sunday after another close game against Carolina. Does Mahomes flip it, or is it more of the same, and they have a problem covering the big number?
Well, Carver, you better put this one on a loop because this won't happen very much. I am taking the Kansas City Chiefs to murder the Raiders, and that's a team I don't like betting on. I think the Raiders are sunk. They're sunk. Their quarterback got hurt. Kansas City's hanging on. If they want to pound these guys, I know it's a divisional game. Chiefs by 17+.
Well, if Mahomes wants a blowout, you ain't going to get too many better chances than with this team coming in your building on Friday afternoon. So if you're ever going to get one, this is the spot to do it. Ferrall Coast to Coast, we're back on the grid right after this. He shouldn't need to hire outside help at this point to be able to help, let alone outside help, Joe, that used to work for him.
Until they get him out of the way, I just don't see how this gets any better. And like you said, who are you picking from? Because most people who know the league want nothing to do with the ownership group there with the Jets.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We fillet Indiana. They would smash them.
What?
Honestly.
You listen to yourself speak. That's not a reality question. They have not played each other. You are using hypothetical.
And they got embarrassed.
As so many
if
teams
they would have
do.
won that football, yes, that's you're 100%
that's the thing, guys.
correct.
No.
The
Stop.
only
Please,
argument is Indiana is a decent football team and a product of their environment.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
And we are back, Ferrall, Coast to Coast, here on a Tuesday. Carver High and Cam Stewart in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody with us here today. All right, Cam, one or two other notes for the NFL, and then at the top of the hour, we'll start to move on. We'll do the NBA Cup games for tonight, lots of college football, et cetera, et cetera. Tomorrow on Coast to Coast, Cam will be back with me, and it'll be almost like, even though it's a Wednesday, it'll be like a Football Friday. We're going to go through all the games for NFL and college Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we're going to get through all the games, tutties, the whole deal. We'll get in as much as we possibly can. But there is one game that I'll just kind of highlight now, Cam, and we'll dive into more tomorrow. The Bengals, who are 4-7, are favored at home against the Steelers, who are 9-3. Now, 8-3 the Steelers. But since 2003, bad teams, that's 40% or less win rate, favored against good teams, 70% or better win rate, are 60, 46, and 6. That's 57% against the spread. In week 13 or later, which is where this qualifies, the quote-unquote bad teams are 5-0-1. Cam, 8-3 Steelers, 4-7 Bengals, and the Bengals are favored. What do you think about that? That's all those ones. You just got to smell it, Cam. Just smell that one. How does that one smell to you, the 4-7 team?
Ooh,
you know what we call that in college?
smells.
We always go, that's the system play in college. When the unranked team's favored over the ranked team, we always go system play. This kind of falls into that category. Very, very suspicious, Cam, to see that.
It does. It smells like a turkey carcass roasting in the sun. I'm going to tell you, Carver, I'm taking the Bengals. Scotty, I know he's not here. He's telepathically cutting my mic. Don't care. Bengals it is for me. I think they need to go on a little bit of a heater. They've been disappointing the whole year, but I'm with you, Carver. Does it smell like a system play? Give me Cincinnati against Pittsburgh. I must be crazy.
Man, that's wild. I'm still thinking about that one, Cam. I don't know if I want to jump to the bridge yet. But
I'm stupid, and I'm going to the way where stupid's not going. Where more people are going to flock to Pittsburgh. I'll flock to Cincinnati. Thank you.
Well,
I'll deal with the consequences.
That's all, and you know that's going to happen, Cam. That's going to be one of those situations where people are going to file in to go to the window with the Steelers as a dog, as the quote unquote better team. They're going to go and get them grabbing points, and that's how you get burned. And finally, The Jets come back off their bye this week. They're at home against your Seahawks, Cam, right? Seahawks going to MetLife this week to the Swamp to see the Jets. Aaron Rodgers, I saw on McAfee, they said he doesn't know if he's playing next year. Now, we played a clip of him 3 weeks ago saying that he is playing next year. We played a clip, me and Ferrall, him after one of their awful losses, because they've had plenty of them this year, saying, I'm playing next year. I have committed to playing next year. Now he's changed his tune. He said he doesn't know if he's playing next year. And if he does, he prefers that it's going to be with the Jets. We've got bad news for Aaron, Cam. Yep. I don't think that the Jets are going to prefer that, that they want him back. I think that you're about to see, and the Jets need it, and they've done it in the past, and they need to do it again. They are about to tear everything down to the studs. There's going to be nothing left. Everybody's going to be out of the place, and it's going to be new. Obviously, you can't get rid of every player. But for the most part, Cam, they are tearing the organization down to the studs. And whoever's going to come in and rebuild the organization, they're not doing it with the 41-year-old quarterback.
Couldn't agree more, Carver. Okay, I'm going to pose you a question, Carver, because you're a smart man. What team does Aaron Rodgers make better? What team can he go to now and say, you know what, with this guy, we're going to get better? Is it the 49ers maybe? I'm trying to think of, what team wants this guy that can he help? He can't move. I'll leave it to you.
I'll say this. I believe that he will complete the entire Brett Favre cycle. Favre, Packer legend, one miserable year with the Jets, finished up with two decent years in Minnesota, went to an NFC title game, and then completely was out of gas, as we know, and finished. I believe he is going to play next year. I don't believe it's going to be with the Jets. I have no idea who it's going to be with, but it's going to be with a team, Cam, that is ready-made. And he's going to be almost like a Manning at the end with Denver.
The Jets were ready-made.
Things like that, where they're not going to ask him to be MVP, Aaron Rodgers, but he's going to try to will them to some victories. And I don't know who it'll be with, because things are crazy in the offseason. There's a lot to still be determined, but I don't think he's done after this year. Coast to Coast, Hour 3 next. Together, both Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson had huge nights. Aaron Rodgers loves the two big targets, and he says if this is going to happen, it's going to be very tough on the defense to decide who they want to go after.
Adams and this kid, Wilson, I won't deny what they can do, but nobody else does jack.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Grandma Bear, who owns the football team, probably comes in, gives a little, oh, man, you're such a good little boy out there. Congratulations, the way you coach this football team. I'm never going to fire you.
Quarterly, I missed you pinching your own cheek as I was looking down and did not know we were getting.
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there with that guy named Ben. That's what your grandma would do to you when you go see her on Thanksgiving or Christmas,
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts, so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.